why is this so bad? Well, we are really on top of these things. You've just got to have someone looking ahead and looking at, like, children's toys coming in, and you just have to sample maybe 1 in a million and see if you've got a problem or not. But here they come, and shoot them on in, and then try and clean up the mess. Well, you can't do that when your kid's sick. There's just no way.
Do you feel that the majority of Americans have sort of accepted what's going on as far as there's nothing we can do about cutting back all this stuff coming from other countries, and because it's so cheap, and like we're spoiled as far as the price tag goes?
Chuck, I really see that, and I've called it a term from the Jimmy Carter days. There's a general malaise out there. People are just really frustrated. I think a lot of them are angry, but they don't know what to do. They can't see what to do. And that's where, at least if you go out and buy American, you can feel better because you're doing something that is going to help. It may be a drop in the bucket, but those drops of buckets can add up, and it's something. Yes, there is a real frustration out there. And
I'll tell you, every time I have to replace my American flag, it is sometimes it's difficult unless you finally find a place where you can get it where it says it's made in the USA. And then, you know, we even got our military uniforms being made in China. Let me ask you as the expert, okay, because, and for the listener, in the book you talk about free trade versus fair trade versus open trade. So what is the difference between all three of those?
Well, I think the big difference is free trade is what we started back in 1945. We were determined to do all we could to assure peace, make a peaceful world instead of ever having to go to war again. And so we dropped all the tariffs and quotas that we could on goods coming in, and people sold a lot of stuff to us. Unfortunately, the states and the nations, our trading partners, kept a lot of, shall we say, additional tributes. Open trade calls for our trading partners to open up. The State Department publishes a list of companies that are not open. They're not disclosing simple things like we have over here, like a uniform system of accounts and a commercial code that we do business with. If we could know those things, it would eliminate a lot of this problem. It would give us a level playing field. And open trade seems to be the way to describe it. You go to Washington and you talk about free trade, and they talk about, you're going to ruin everything. The world economy will fall apart. We quit trading with everybody. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about cleaning it up. And really, until we clean it up, there are two things we can do. We can cut back, or we can take some defenses here. And again, it comes back to what I said a minute ago. Take the same relief we need to do for the economy here, and that is reduce the burden on our companies. We pay 51% and higher as a burden on companies. And Singapore, Ireland, China, a lot of these other countries are under 20%. And there is a huge difference. And we can make up for that difference because we pay a lot more for employees over here. We can make up for that difference by lowering taxes, start business to go in, give the economy a boost, hire people, and be able to compete better than we're doing right now.
Do you
open trade is opening it up.
Do you feel that Obama is creating a crutch for successful businesses, that he sort of has it in for them, that it seems like if you're successful and if you're making it, then you're the enemy? That's what I'm kind of getting from this. How do you feel about that?
Well, Chuck, this came up on another interview I had. We got to talking around. I mean, it's a real good point. There seems to be a phobia on the part of dealing with businessmen. I'm not sure what it is. Of course, agoraphobia means you're afraid of the marketplace, and it may be that he just doesn't understand business enough to really appreciate what's involved. I mean, to me, the cutting ground for any politician is a payroll. Has he ever seen what a business is like and how you gotta take care of your employees? I'm afraid, in my understanding of what he's done, he's never really had to worry about that. He just doesn't understand business. And in the course of this conversation, we've said, well, he may be afraid of it. How you get over something like that, I don't know. You got to trust
And
business in this country, though. That's faith in this country. Business works.
Of course, the smart thing to do is if you don't know anything, you're a community organizer, and then you go into politics, and that's all you've ever done, except for write 2 books, maybe with somebody helping you. Anyway, the smart thing to do is surround yourself with people who do know what they're talking about, you know, your experts, but not let your ego get in the way where you're not going to listen to them. And when he made that statement, Barr, about he thinks some people have too much money, did you hear that about 3 weeks ago? He made that statement.
Yeah, I heard that, and
somebody said, "What is? How much is too much? Is that $1 more than he's making, or what?"
Well, maybe his understanding of business is so wrong. I remember Joe the plumber. This to me was just a perfect question, Mr. President. Well, Mr. Candidate, I'd like to go and have my own business. And Obama says, well, maybe we need to share the wealth first. Here, poor Joe the plumber, he doesn't have any money. I mean, he just wants to get started. And Obama just went over his head completely. So it goes back to, I just don't think he really understands how business works in this country. You know, let me just add one thing here. Our forefathers, when they set us up, of course, they started us out as a Christian nation. They started us out on democracy, and it became one of the hottest ideas in the world, and they started us on the enterprise system. And we had faith in business that people would be able to go out and work, make a living, and do well. And we just getting away from that in the worst way. I mean, we're undercutting something basic to our whole American system.
You know, it is the perfect example of what you're just now saying, and this is going to sound a little flippant here, but remember when Coca-Cola decided to change their design, and then they realized, oh my goodness, what have we done? It's like it's the old saying, you know what? If it ain't broke, don't fix it. And we should have left it alone. The forefathers, they knew what they were doing, those founding fathers, too. We're going to take a break here. Let me check. Yes, that's right. It's time for a break. We're going to be right back with Barr McKellen. He is the author of Made in the USA. You know, he represented energy companies. And we want to talk about that and the foreign oil and a couple of other things. Be right back.